Okay, this is the man that's going to clean house on Finstad.
Hello, Albert Lee. My name is Jake Johnson. For those of you who haven't met me before, I'm just going to introduce myself a little bit, so you know where I come from and what my values are, what I fight for. I grew up in Stewartville, just south of Rochester. And growing up as a poor kid in Stewartville meant it wasn't a luxury for us. We needed SNAP. We needed medical assistance. I needed Pell Grants and subsidized Stafford loans to be able to go to college. And so when my representative, Brad Finstad, started coming after people like us, I knew I couldn't just keep going on with my life as though nothing had happened. I've taught in Rochester for 19 years. I teach mathematics. I taught for 16 years. Thank you. Wow, a math fan. Let's go. Let's go. Good to have one in the crowd. Thank you. Thank you. I taught for 16 years at John Marshall High School. I've taught the past 3 at Mayo High School. And truth be told, if I had my druthers, I'd do another 19 years in the classroom because I love my job. It is the professional joy of my life to get to serve my students and their families in the classroom. I feel like I've done good work, and it's always been with the idea that I need to serve my community. But when Brad Finstad started coming after people like me, people like us, our way of life, the fact that 1 in 6 people in our district is on Medicaid, the fact that 1 in 11 is on SNAP, and he is the deciding vote to say this is where his priorities and values are. Well, shame on him. Because those are not the Southern Minnesotan values that I was raised with. The fact that we work hard and we take care of each other, right? If not for those programs, and if not for my hard work in a community that believed in me, I'd probably be dead. But I've got a brother who's a college professor. I've got another brother who's a dentist. I've got a sister who's a nurse. I've got a brother who's a salesman. On and on we go. None of us would have amounted to a hill of beans if it wasn't for the support that we received from our community and from our government. And so when Brad Finstad says, sorry, there's not enough for you, I say, no, Brad. That's not quite right. It's all about priorities and values. Because what are we doing right now? We are cutting vital social safety net programs. And what are we getting for it? We're getting tax breaks for billionaires and a ballooning national debt that our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren will have to pay down the road. And so when I talk to people, and I've talked to a lot of people across this district, this is not a Republican or a Democrat or an independent issue. This is a Southern Minnesotan issue. Unfortunately, Brad Finstad has forgotten us. Unfortunately, Brad speaks with one voice, and it is the voice from the executive branch that tells him what to think, right? We know that to be true. He's forgotten that his job is not to represent the interests of President Trump. Rather, his job is to serve the public. And I can't tell you how many people I have talked to who've said, I call, I send emails, and I show up at his office, and this guy isn't there. It doesn't have to be this way. I can tell you this, and I'll tell you how I know. When my stepfather passed away, he was a Vietnam veteran. He passed away, and my mom, who still had 6 kids in the home, said, Jake, I think I'm entitled to survivorship benefits through the VA. And she didn't have a job at the time. She was going to school to get her nursing degree, but she didn't have an income. He said, what am I supposed to do? She's trying to fill out the paperwork with the VA. She can't get it done. I don't know. They're not being very helpful. What should I do? Thank God the year was 2009. And the representative who sat in the office was Tim Walz. Because my mom, when she said, what should I do? I said, I don't know. Let's reach out to our congressman. Seems like the sensible thing to do. Within 2 days, Tim Walz himself, not a staffer, not a form letter that had nothing to do with my mother's concern, Tim Walz himself picked up the phone, called my mother and said, don't worry, ma'am, we're going to take care of this. And then within a week, his staff had followed up, and she was getting the benefits that my father fought for. So, my mom, who at the time, and even since then, is not a party line voter. As a matter of fact, she tends to be more conservative than liberal. But she said to me, Jake, I'll tell you what, I can't tell you I'm always going to vote for Democrats. I hope I can win her vote. I said, I'm not always going to vote for Democrats, but I'll tell you one thing for sure. I'm damn well always going to vote for Tim Walz. Right? Because personal connections matter. Service to the public matters. And so when people say, Jake, how are you going to win Republicans? You know what we're going to do? We're going to show up everywhere. We're going to listen humbly everywhere. And then when we find great ideas wherever they come from, whether they're Jackson County, whether they're Martin County, whether they're Blue Earth County, Freeborn County, Olmsted County, Winona County, wherever we find those good ideas, we amplify them and we tell those stories. There are so many stories from across our district that need to be told that are not being heard right now. Brad Finstad's not going to elevate them. Our campaign will. Yeah! And so I've spoken enough. I'm probably over my 5 minutes. I apologize. I really am done, but I just want to leave you with this. If you feel compelled to help our campaign, there are 2 primary ways that you can do it. Donations, and as have been mentioned, make a massive difference to state-level Democrats, to national-level Democrats, to say something special is happening in southern Minnesota, and one metric for that is money raised. And so, you can talk to Eleanor, you could talk to Catherine, you could talk to Shelley, or you can talk to me if you feel compelled to donate. We unfortunately, it's true, we are not part of the PCR program. When you donate $100 to us, you're not getting it back, I'm sorry. But what you are getting, and what you are buying, is you are buying a place in a people-led effort to take back our district. Yeah. And as much as my name will be on shirts and they will be on yard signs, this is a campaign about us, our community, our district. And so with that, the second way you can help, we need volunteers everywhere. We need authentic messengers carrying an authentic message in their own communities. So I need people from Albert Lea to tell their story to other people in Albert Lea, because this is a big district. 21 counties is a lot of territory, and I can't be everywhere as much as I want to be everywhere. I need people in Albert Lea to organize in Albert Lea. And Angie and I are going to work together. We're going to work together to make sure that I'm knocking for her and she's knocking for me, and we are making sure that people in this district know who is fighting for regular people. Thank you so much, Albert Lea. You guys are the best.